Okay, we're going to continue the 8-step pattern. We've covered the most important one, which is the dream, the why, the developing the desire, the reason, the purpose, the burning desire, or revenge, whatever. Got to show somebody, got to win. All those things that are vital to know where you want to go. You got to know what success is. You got to define it, and to know where you want to go with this, and how much fuel to put in the tank, and what speed to drive it, or what kind of vehicle you want to drive. You got to have the why. Second thing was the toughie. That's the work. That's where as I said, the rubber meets the road. Most people have a blowout. Is the commitments, and we could spend 2 hours on commitments. I had to do it within my 15-minute segment. There's a lot into commitments, but basically it's an attitude. Basically, it's like everything else. It's you decide how important this is to you, and you give it that level of importance. I'm having a little trouble talking. That's why I'm making these. I'm getting older. I have to make them while I can. The level of priority, of importance, and intensity, and all that comes into the application of the process and the methodology to accomplish the goal and the dream. Now we're getting down to, I'm going to try to combine these into this one little segment, which is the making of the list, the contact and invite, and the presentation. Because the effectiveness and how well you do all those three is basically one word. It's your level of belief. People join you. They don't join the business. They don't join the company. It's usually not the product that really makes a difference. It's you. People have a desperate need to be led. They have a desperate need to believe in something. They have a desperate need to run into people who actually have a strong belief, and you will attract, and people will be attracted to you if you have that intense level of desire and belief and commitment and intensity about you. You will attract people. Let me just talk about the list. You want to put every single person you can put on the list, from your contact list, from your phone list to your Rolodex or whatever, put them on the list. But then you want to be selective of who you share the program with first. The biggest mistake majority of people who do not make it in this business make, in application area where we are now, is they pick the wrong people to try to start with. You don't want to pick the neediest. You want to pick the hungriest. You want to pick people that are already shown by their performance that they are doers, achievers, that they are goal-oriented, that they have dreams, that they're willing to work for. You only got one chance to start, and you want to get your best people up front. You want to get your best people in first, and to kickstart your growth here. You don't want to get people that you got to drag or talk or convince, or they're anchors you after you get them in. You wish you hadn't got them in, because they do nothing but take your time and drag you down and take you down with their negative and their disbelief and all that. So when you make your list, the first people you want to talk to are probably the ones you're going to need help from your up team, because you might have a little fear, and might have a little chicken list, and you will make the wrong judgment, as most people do, that they don't need it, or they don't want it, or they wouldn't be interested. I always tell people, if you could pick them, and every time I bring somebody in, the first person I brought in is he thinks he can pick them, and I want to tell him, if you can pick them, you don't need to do it, because people will pay you beaucoup money. I'll pay you beaucoup money to pick them for me. There is no way to pick. All you can do is eliminate as much of, you can raise your percentages by going after go-getters, by going after dreamers. Those are the people. Put everybody on your list. Talk to every single person you get close to every day. I feel an obligation. I will pretty much hold a gun to somebody's head to get them to listen to the opportunity. I won't try to force them in, and I won't try to get them to do anything once they get in, because that's a waste of time. But they don't know what they don't know. You know something that can change their life drastically. You have an obligation to share it with them. You can't pass people by. From the other side, you're only going to meet so many winners. The people you didn't talk to today could have been your 2 or 1, or you just don't know when they're going to come into your life. You can't afford to pass anybody up. That person you didn't talk to today might have been the one. The person you didn't talk to today may have been so desperate that they might go out, let me take an extreme example, they might go out and commit suicide because they're so exasperated with their life or frustrated. You could have changed that by sharing the opportunity with them, get them to dream again, get them to believe in themselves again. So you should feel, if you think this thing is that good, and if you don't think it's that good, you're not going to be very successful at it. If you don't think it's the best thing since ice cream, you've got to believe that. It's got to be in here. It's got to be in your being. It's got to emanate from you. There's got to be an energy. You got to be possessed. You got to be obsessed. You got to be sold out. You got to be just, I don't know all the terminologies. But people have got to get close to you. You just got to be consumed. You got to be eat up. It's got to be, people sometimes ask me if I'm in the business. No, I'm not in the business. The business is in me. And I am a walking, talking, brainwashed, propagandized, whatever terminology you want to use. I'm going to make this thing. I'm going to find the right people. I'm going to make it work. And when people get around me, they may not want to do it, but they sure know I'm going to do it. Most of the people I got in the business early on in my Amway business got in because they were afraid I was going to do it without them. And they were right. I was going to do it with or without them. And they didn't want to get left behind. That's what, you can't go out looking for people to excite you. You got to go out and excite people. A lot of people get in, if I can find a couple of people that believe this, then I'll believe. No, that ain't going to happen, guys. You got to believe strong enough that your belief inspires others to follow you. Now that comes down to all three of these categories, from the making the list and who you talk to on the list, to there's no right or wrong way to approach people. You got to find what you feel comfortable with. What is your style? Where people really, when you talk to people like you normally talk to them, you've got something you want to share with them. You got something that can change their life. You got something. Now, there's one rule that I encourage you to follow. It's really simple. Don't tell them anything until you can tell them everything. Burn that somewhere into concrete, into steel. Don't tell them anything until you can tell them everything. Giving people bits and pieces is a disservice to them. They will then take those bits and pieces and try to make a big picture out of bits and pieces, and they'll come up with the wrong idea or the wrong conclusions. And they'll close their mind before you. You want them to have an open mind. You want to give them all the facts. You want to give them a proper presentation, and then they can make an intelligent decision based on a proper presentation. And I don't even like the word presentation. It's more like an interview. It's more like a sharing. It's not a sales presentation. It's a sharing of how this thing works and what it can do for them, and more, equally as important, why you're excited about it and where you're going, why you're excited about where you're going. Then they'll get excited about wanting to go there too. People have buried their dreams. They've insulated them. I did the flea thing earlier and the elephant thing, and that's what happens to people. They quit dreaming because they don't think it's going to happen, and they got to try to convince themselves it's okay to accept and settle for what they've got and what they can afford. It all boils down to an attitude, to an energy. And when you have that, people will be, the right people will be attracted to you because you have become a leader. You've become a go-getter. You've become somebody who's chasing a dream. And people get inspired and excited about those. Now, a lot of people don't, because they don't want to dream anymore. They just want to convince themselves it's okay to settle for. It's okay, this job I got's not so bad. It's okay, I'm getting by, I'm doing okay. And if that's what you want, that's not the kind of people you're looking for. You're not looking for people that are ready to settle for, that think they're doing okay, and that's all they want. You're looking for people that want more. You want people that want more out of life, that want to enjoy life, that want to realize there's a world out there to enjoy. There are things to enjoy. There's a whole different mindset. There's a whole different way to live life. Rather than working yourself to death trying to make a living, how about making your life your career and work at living your life? It's just, I love the Zig Ziglar, or Og Mandino in The Greatest Miracle. It's got so many niceties in there about enduring, and life shouldn't be a sentence to endure. It shouldn't be a prison. It should be a journey to enjoy. There's so many things you need to read that book. I could do hours and hours just on a few paragraphs out of that book. They're just miraculous, and there's a lot of books. You're always going to hear me talk about read and listen, read and listen, read and listen. It all has to do with who you put on your list, how you contact, how you do the presentation. And the follow-through, there's no such thing. Follow-through starts as you're doing the presentation. If they've got a dream, if they've got a goal, if they're looking for a way, then you assume they're in. The next step is not to sign them up. The next step is not get them to buy a starter kit or buy product. That's not the next step. The starting step is the list, and then a follow-up get together, meeting, whatever, within 24 to 40 hours to get them started with some people. The connection at the end of the plan has got to be you are X number of people away from your dream. Let's go find those people. Okay, if you need to make this kind of money, it's going to take this kind of this number of people. It's going to take this level in the business. How do we get to that level? It's always people, people, people. It's the dream. It's the why. It's the dream. It's the list. The list is the vehicle, is the fuel for the vehicle to get them where they want to go. You got to put fuel in the tank. The fuel in the tank is people. The fuel in the tank is the list. The fuel in the tank is exposure. Guys, this is not complicated. It's real simple. Show it to as many people as fast as you can. That's all you do here. It's exposure. Get as many people in front of this presentation in as short a period of time, and you want to get off to rapid growth. There's no building this slow. You got to create momentum. You've got to do it fast. It don't work slow. So just get it in front of as many people as fast as you can, and get yourself believing, get yourself excited, be passionate, be possessed with where you're going. Not necessarily about the program, about where you're going, about the fact that today you want to get closer to your dream. You just can't stand to not be sharing it with somebody. I just go nuts when I can't have somebody to be talking to. I got all this ammunition. I got 1,000,000 rounds. I got the best guns in the world. I'm the best shooter in the world. I got to have somebody to shoot at. And I don't take that wrong. I'm not trying to harm people. I'm trying to help people. But you got to have people to talk to. You got to continually feel that well. You got to be prospecting and talking and contacting and starting conversations with people every day. They will tell you why they need what you've got. People are desperate. They're looking. A lot are. A lot aren't. You're looking for the ones that are looking. And they will find you if you've got that energy about you. So it's all attitude. The number one word in this kind of endeavor, folks, is belief. You got to have enough belief that it inspires you, and enough passion and showing of that belief that it reaches out and grabs and inspires others to want to. I don't know what got into you. I don't know what's wrong with you. I don't know what's different about you, but I want some of it. And it's kind of like that movie that the girl had the fake orgasm sitting at the table. I forgot what the name of that was. And and the people next to the table after she went through this whole thing said, I'll have whatever she's having. When people see you, I'm not saying you have to have orgasm, but similar to that, it's when people see you fired up, see you excited about your life, see you going somewhere, see you with your appearance is different, your demeanor is different, your steps quicker, you're standing up straight, you're excited about life because you're going somewhere. You're working on your life instead of living at the JOB, the journey of the broke. When people see that about you, they will inquire, what are you drinking? What are you eating? What are you taking? What's different about you? I'm glad you asked. I'm different because I'm chasing a dream for one of the first times in my life, and it is so joyful to be chasing a dream. It's so joyful to be doing something besides just going back to work to make a paycheck to pay somebody else, to pay for bills for things I don't want. I mean, think about it. We work to get money to pay for a house or a car or food or whatever. And we don't even want what we're selling for. We're affording. We're just getting by. It's so much more enjoyable, guys, to work for something before you can get what you want. And when you have that in you, it will come out, and you will attract people, and people will want to join you. People will want to have what you have. They join your belief until they get their own. They join your commitment. But you got to show them your commitment. They can't just read it. If you're committed, if you believe, if you know this is going to work, and you know you're going to do what it takes to make it work, people will grab hold and follow you. And that takes care of making the list. You'll do that. That takes care of approaching. You'll do that. And they'll approach you. That takes care of the presentation, because all you're doing is sharing your belief with people. And then the follow-through becomes automatic, because you got to get people started. You got to get people. You got to get people to get people to get people to get people. It's all about getting people. It's all about getting in front of people. It's all about who do you know? Who do they know? Who do they know? Numbers, 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 exposure, 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 with the right attitude, with the belief. There's no failure if you just get your stinking thinking turned into excited, positive thinking, and believe, believe, believe. You're going to do this. You're going to make it happen. No matter what it takes, it's going to happen, and people will flock to you, and they will join you. Believe, guys. Just believe. Believe.